Episode 15, D-Rod and Shaniac Sports Podcast, coming to you live on NFL Draft Day. There's only 115 that I think we recognize nowadays. That's Patty Mahomes. I look like. That's gotta be it. That's pretty much it.
Guess.
Episode 15 of the D-Rod and Shaniac Sports Podcast. Sorry about the lack of an episode last week. We had some personal matters to attend to, plus allergy season and whatnot. But as it is, today is NFL Draft Day. It is also just about the end of the month of April. We are now finishing the first month of baseball. Overall, it's been so fun to watch baseball, bro. Like, I think this season is it's so much more meaningful because a lot of the players are just like back. They're all back into it. Some of the players we missed out from last year, like Trey Mancini in his last series, man, he looked good. And he's been looking good all series too. Players like Salvador Perez, like he's come back. He wasn't.
Yeah, he was nice last year.
But yeah, he wasn't in 2 years ago because he had an injury, and I didn't see any of him last year just because of the shortened season. But it's so nice to see Salvi come back.
He's a stud. They extended him. He's like 150 years old and they extended him. That just shows you he's a stud.
Oh man. Anybody need a catcher? I sure do. I sure do know a team that needs a catcher.
Oh. Not right now, but
we got a commit.
Give it a couple more weeks. If this continues, then we need a catcher.
Yeah. And what we are going to talk about though to end our month of April is the New York Yankees.
Them bums.
They kind of broke our hearts to start off the season.
Time and time again.
It was only 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago that we were only, it's only April. I say in maybe all of my post-game recaps, if you go and watch those, Shane, you try and keep the peace, keep the fan base kind of, like under the reins. Like, don't worry, we got this. We'll turn this around. That's all it's been for the last 2-3 weeks. We'll turn this around. We're now looking at the month of May, where their schedule, considering what the first month of baseball looked like for some of these teams, of some of their opponents, is not going to get any easier, save for, the first 3 games against Detroit that we start tomorrow. But there seems to be energy, enthusiasm, skill even lacking in the Yankees dugout this year for a lot of their players. For a lot of them.
Bad.
It's been bad, Shane. I mean, we say every week. When are we going to turn it around? But if you look at all the media pages, Yankees Twitter, Yankees Facebook, if you on that, Instagram comments.
We don't talk.
You don't want to. You don't want to talk about Yankees Facebook.
Not even Yankees IG. They can stay over there. It's only Yankees Twitter.
Yankees Twitter is the most interactive of the group, and they have been the most loud as of late.
And the most accurate for the most part.
For the most part, yeah. We want to talk about the New York Yankees and just sound off a little bit. Just give our gripes. We've got a lot to say about what this month has been, why this team hasn't turned it around, who's winning on the team, who's losing on the team, where can we improve. There's still so much to be just poked and prodded with. What are we, 11-14?
Yeah.
Tied for 4th in the AL East with the Orioles, we just finished the series with today. And aside from Garrett Cole, if you were to give out an all-star for our team so far, it's only been him. No one else that I can think of, that I know of, I'll even say, is even close to deserving of an all-star caliber level of baseball.
Everybody in the bullpen. Let's start there. It has been phenomenal. There's only been one bad guy in the bullpen, and it's Nick Nelson.
Yeah.
And he got sent to the shadow room last week. Everybody else has been phenomenal.
Johnny Loizaga has been, icing on
a
the cake for a
stud
lot of
throwing
Cole's
100
games.
miles an hour with the 92 changeup.
He's really picked up the pace.
Cheddar.
Chad Green's been good the last couple times he's come out. He had a rough start, I think, to the season, first couple games, but
no, he was
last
amazing.
couple times,
I think he gave a home run to Bo Bichette once, and every other game he pitched this year, he's been lights out. It's just that was a walk-off, so it feels so much worse than it actually was.
And that's, yeah. I know he actually recorded a save, I think, in one of the last 2 outings he had, which obviously, we don't have to use Chapman every day. Britton's still, waiting on his turn to come back. I'd like Chad Green to hold down the fort for a while, that back end. Yeah, the relief hasn't been too bad for the Yankees this season. And of course, you look at a team that has had no offense, that aside from Cole is shutting down opposing batters. Or aside from Cole is the only guy on the team shutting down opposing batters.
Only in the starting rotation.
Yeah. And then, this is a team that's giving up close to like 3-4 runs a game. And when you have no offense, you're losing games 4-1, 4-2.
But you got to understand, giving up 3 runs, 4 runs a game is elite. Most teams average 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So you give up 3, 4, you're supposed to win every game, which is what makes no sense because we're losing those games. Right. And we're not even losing them like, oh, it was a close game. Like, it was only 3-0 or 3-1 or 4-1, but it felt 10-1. And it's like, oh, that's why it's bad.
Every at bat is painstakingly bad to watch for the majority of the team, because you're looking at guys who are going down on 3 simple strikes, and that's been basically the top half of our lineup. Anybody who hits maybe 7-8 hasn't been too bad. As of late, DJ's gotten a good look at the ball. He's been hitting a lot better. Giancarlo's been hitting a lot better. They moved him up to the 2 spot, and I know when we did our lineups or
beautiful
pick lineups, you put him 2, and that's a good look for the Yankees right now. And actually, your theory was even more accurate just because he's getting a lot more looks. He has to, because the next guy up is
Judge, and Judge doesn't really need protection. He needs it because you don't want him to get walked every time. But Judge could literally go up there and just work a walk. And that's what he's going to get walked regardless. So if he's going to get walked, they put Mike Ford behind him, like Mike Ford. Yeah. And then they put Gio. It's like, yeah, Gio's a stud, but is Gio really protection? No. Luke Voit has to bat there. When Luke Voit comes back, I promise you we're going on a tear, because they're going to play around with Luke Voit. He's going to hit a home run first at bat, and they're going to go, oh man, we got to be worried of this guy. We can't walk Judge, because they just walked Stanton right before that, and they're going to walk Judge, and then you're going to give a 3-run home run to Voit.
And he's waiting on it. That's the AL home run king from last year.
He might win it again this year because no one's going crazy. It's really just it's really just Ohtani, but how long can he keep that up? So Luke Voit might come crazy.
Yeah. Well, to our point, the bats haven't really reached their full potential as of right now. Where I'm going to focus mostly on is just like how inconsistent the bats are. The pitching has been consistent, I'd say, for all 5 starters, because you're getting a mostly mediocre start from the back 4. Cole is elite.
The back four? That's the whole rotation.
But that's what I'm saying. You're getting a mostly mediocre start. Again, 3-4 runs a game. You're not looking at too bad of a pitching. Their ERAs don't show well just because, again, ERA is a projection over 9 innings. You want to look at a guy who gives up, 2-3 runs in his first 5 innings. Yeah, that looks bad in the stat sheet. But if the back of the rotation is holding that up, usually you expect to come back and win those games.
Here's the issue. That would be perfect analysis if they were going 5 innings. They were only going 3, 4 and a third. You can't give up 4 runs in 3 innings. You can't give 4 runs in 3 and a third. That doesn't make sense.
In this Baltimore series,
they did very well this series.
I know. This last
they went
series
6 and 7. Good. Yeah.
In the series prior to that, who was that? That was Cleveland.
Yes, they were
Herman was
horrible. I'm
good.
surprised we won.
His first game, no,
Yeah,
Herman went
Herman was
well.
good. I will give you that. Davey did not do that well.
That was
That
the
was this
second
series,
game.
though. That was this series. No, that was against
That
Baltimore,
was before.
and that's the game we lost.
Cole was good in the third game. Who was in the second? The second game was
I think it was Tyone. Tyone or Kluber.
King.
No, King didn't start. It was either Tyone or Kluber, and they both went like 4 innings, 4 runs, and it's like, yeah, Kluber was actually pitched very well. Tyone actually pitched very well, but when you look at the actual game, it was like 8 strikeouts, 4 innings, 4 2/3, 4 runs, and it's like with Tyone, he was dominant until the 4th inning, and he gave up 4 runs, and it's like, bro,
I mean,
you can't win.
4 innings, no, that's not a good look for a starting pitcher. That's almost half the game. 3 runs in half the game. It's not great, I know.
That's horrible.
But you know that the relief is going to hold that back end. You can have
How
a bad
long
start
can
with
they
4
do
innings.
That though? That's the problem.
But it's turning
if it's
around.
Once,
if you look at this last series, and yes, it's against Baltimore, but this last series proved that some of these guys can actually go 5, 6. Domingo went 7 the other night.
Yeah, Kluber went 6 2/3.
It's a stretch. Yeah. But
Monty went into the 6th inning. Yeah.
It's proven these guys can do that. The relief needs to hold that back end. It's the offense that's the problem. That's where I'm like kind of honing in on this. I know the pitching is mediocre overall for the Yankees, with the exception of Cole, because he's been lights out. Second best pitcher in the league right now. No contest. But the offense hasn't given the Yankees any form of life. Do you even think, actually, in a lot of those innings where Kluber has gotten shelled in the first couple innings, or Domingo Germán had a couple terrible first 2 starts, if the Yankees offense had been as on fire as they have projected to be, most of those starts wouldn't have looked as bad. And I know you can't really just give it up to like their win shares and like how many wins did this guy get, or how many innings did this guy pitch at the end of the day. Yeah, it all comes down to that in the stat sheet. But you need the run support as a starting pitcher. A lot of the time, that's where your confidence comes from. Jacob deGrom is the one exception of a pitcher that doesn't need any confidence from his offense, that can just go lights out. You can lose a game 1-0, 8 games straight, and still be like,
Cole too.
I gotta throw better pitches, and you got
Cole too.
What? Yeah, and
but
Cole,
that's the thing.
Cole's been like
it's
that too.
Only the super studs.
yeah.
deGrom doesn't need that. Cole doesn't need it. Kershaw doesn't need it. He gets it, but he doesn't need it. He's gonna go out there and go 7 innings, 2 runs every game. Yeah. So it's like he doesn't need it. But you get to people that haven't pitched in 2 years. What do you expect them to do? Throw a perfect game?
No,
you got to give them something.
No,
you got to give them something.
So when they give up 3-4 runs in 4 or 5 innings, it looks bad. Yes, you got to get the relief guy in there. Johnny has been lights out. Chad Green has been pretty good as of late. They have a third guy in there, and Michael King has come to relief a couple times.
Justin Wilson.
He's been good. Justin Wilson's been okay.
He hasn't been bad.
Chapman as a closer has been pretty much
lights out
as of right now. He's been Chapman.
8 innings, 22 strikeouts. Like, think about that.
Yeah. And he's usually only pitching 1 inning. So he's coming about 8 times.
No. He has 8 games, but it's more than 8 innings. But it's something crazy like 20 or 22 strikeouts. And it's like, bro, that means he's striking out 2, like almost 3 an inning. And he only faced 3 people.
He only faced 3 people, So it's the whole side. If you come in and lose to the Yankees and Chapman's up top this season, just go home.
It's that splitter, bro. That splitter is
dangerous this year.
Oh,
dangerous this year. But again, enough about the pitching. The pitching has been very, very good overall for the Yankees. I'm not going to give them the MVP award. Cole is my MVP All-Star, whatever we want to call it, early on for the Yankees. But the bats are way too inconsistent. When I gave my recap yesterday of that 7-0 win against Baltimore, I finished it saying, give me this team. Because everybody on the lineup was 2 for 4, 2 for 5, with the exception of Higgy and Gardy. And that's fine. I'll take that because I know we got Gary and we got Judge if we need them, who can light up at almost any time. Judge more frequently than Gary, obviously. But this is not the team I want after the entire month of April. You know, you look back at it and they've been notably bad the entire 1 through 9.
It's
No one
actually
can
really
find a
disgusting.
streak. Yeah, no
Yeah.
one can find a hot spot, a streak. We talked about it before. The most consistent guy on the team hitting is Gio. And Gio has been inconsistent.
Yeah.
Gio had a 3-for-4 game, I remember early on, like second series against Toronto or against Tampa, first 2 weeks of baseball. I said, oh my God, Gio's going to take this team in April. He's going to be the spark. Then he goes cold. Next couple of games. Cleveland, Atlanta, went quiet. Comes back, end of Cleveland, start of Baltimore. Okay. He's got, what is that, like 6 hits in 6 games, 7 games? Was that 4 against Cleveland?
I think so, around there.
Yeah, it's something like that in the last like 7 games. Again, the most consistent guy is still pretty inconsistent on the team because DJ's heating up now. Giancarlo's heating up now. I had a feeling Rougned Odor was more consistent on the team.
Nope.
And
his
average is
consistently horrible.
Bad. He's been very bad as of late. And even still, he's still top 5 on the team in RBIs. And you're like, what? When?
You know why?
Look at the entire
only time he gets
Cleveland,
hits,
Atlanta.
the only time he gets hits is in late inning situations when people are on base. Which is why when Voit comes back, they're sending down Mike Ford and they're gonna keep Odor.
He's another guy. He came up first 2 games. He got a couple decent hits. He hit a home run, I think, in one of his games. Then he went cold.
And then he hit a home run again yesterday.
Have like a AAA battery lifespan this month. You put him. You're looking for batteries for the remote, and you know you don't have the right kind, so you got to go pick up one of the used ones from the other remote upstairs. And there's a AAA battery. It lasts you maybe 5 minutes, and you got to start smacking the back of the remote.
Yeah.
Aaron Boone right now is smacking the back of the remote, trying to figure out what can I do to spark this team. He got thrown out the other day. We thought that was a spark. Turns out that was nothing. He's just pissed at his team.
It sparked us. We won the next 2. But then we lost the last game.
We lost the last game against Baltimore. So I don't know, Shane. I'm more upset with the bats than anything. I still think the pitching hasn't been too bad. They need run support. That's my final analysis.
I'm right with you. I'm right with you. But I don't think it's everybody. Judge, even though he doesn't have the greatest numbers right now, Judge hasn't been terrible. Judge has been slightly, let me not say slightly. Judge has been below regular Judge, what we've seen from Judge in the past years. Yeah. But at the same time, can we really complain? He's healthy. Of course, they're gonna soreness. He's 6'7", 280 pounds. He's gonna be
hard
sore.
To carry all that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big dude. So he's healthy. So he's playing. And it's funny because I was watching John Boy earlier, and he was like, there's like a weird stat where every time Judge pulls a home run, he gets hurt that day and then has to sit out the next. It's like he's pulled 3 home runs this year.
Don't tell me that's true.
He's pulled 3 home runs this year, and every time he pulled a home run, he missed the next game. So they're like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me! Like every time he pulls a home run, well, Judge is gonna miss the next game, but he's healthy. So it's like you want to say like Judge has been like slacking, but like he hasn't. He's not hitting 280, which we expect from him, but he has, I think, 5 home runs. I think you said 10 or 11 RBIs. Like he's not bad. It's early. Like if we want 2018 or 2017 Judge, where he hit like 10 home runs, 12 home runs in April, you're not gonna get that. Most people don't do that. That's a huge month. He might give you that in July, but he's not gonna give you that in April. And that's the thing. The Yankees have a bunch of people on their team that notably start slow. And every year, what do we start the season? Every year we start 5-7, 5-8, 6-10. But then after we do that, we usually go on like a 10-game winning streak. This is the one year where we haven't have that. We don't have that flip yet. So you look at the Yankees and you look at DJ. DJ was horrible for a stretch of like 2 weeks. Yeah. He started off the season pretty well. And then the next 2 weeks he was horrible, and then we're here now. And the last 3-4 games, he's gone nuts where he has like 8 hits in the last 4 games. So it's like, okay, DJ's back. That's I even tweeted it out. I'm like, okay, DJ's back. We don't have to worry about him anymore because he's had 3 straight games with multiple hits. He's good. Don't even look at DJ anymore. He's good. Like you said, we did that lineup thing. I put Stanton second in that lineup. I said Stanton needs to bat second because he never has protection behind him. And every game they throw him slide in the dirt, slide in the dirt, slide in the dirt. And it's like every time that happens, he strikes out because he has to swing. What happened now? They put him in front of Judge. What happens there? He's seeing pitches down the middle. Even with the sliders down and away, they're not in the dirt. They're in the strike zone. So he's hitting them now. And every time I watch him hit, I get upset because he stands so far from the plate. So even fastballs on the outside corner, he has to lunge for them. I don't understand. Even MLB The Show puts him closer to the plate. They know he can't hit a pitch outside standing that far.
His whole mantra since he came back from I think when he got hit in the face in Miami.
Yeah, he stands so far from the plate now.
Far. Yeah, it's not even like a fear thing. It's a vision thing.
He's scared of righties.
I don't think he said it was a vision. I think he said it's not a fear. I mean, it's a vision thing. He wants to be able to see the ball from righties coming down and into him, not at him, because he stood a lot closer.
I'm telling you, watch the games. He's still afraid of righties.
Like you can see it, is what you're saying?
No, he wears the face guard against righties, and against lefties he doesn't. But he doesn't wear it against lefties. That's what I'm trying to say. You can get hit in the face easily against a lefty, same way. But with it, it's like against lefties, he's in there, which is why he's a lefty killer. He stands in there against lefties. He doesn't move. Of course, a righty's thrown basically from behind you because he stands so closed. Yeah. But if you look at it, he wears the face guard against righties. That means he's conscious of it. Because if he didn't care, Luke Voigt, you think Luke Voigt's wearing that thing all the time? He might do it now just because the Yankees might make him. But he got hit in the face, stood up, spit, went to first base. Next at bat, no face guard. He was fine.
Luke Voigt got a different head than Giancarlo Stanton. That's the other thing.
They're both tanks.
It's true. From what I remembered from the Miami thing, there was a story that came out about how yes, he was mentally changed from getting hit in the face.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's afraid to be in the box. He's just
no. It's something on that level. That changes you. You get hit by a 95-mile-per-hour fastball to the face. That's gonna infinitely mess up your.
He was out for a month, right? It was 2016. He was out for a minute.
He had stitches, bruises all over his. It was crazy, but part of it was to adjust his batting stance because it's more closed as of post Miami. It's more
he can't step
further from the plate. He can't step into the outside.
Yeah, when he was very open.
Yeah.
Early in his career, and then he would step in. Once you step in, it's hard to get out the way. Once you're closed already, all you have to do is step where you are.
Yeah, up.
But that stepping where you are, kind of for him, it's I don't know if he just doesn't see the ball as well, because it's he doesn't really. I don't know how less movement makes you see the ball worse. But moving on.
Yeah.
Judge batting behind him. Now he has more people on base. Now he's gonna have more RBI opportunities because Stanton's either gonna get a hit. And he hits the ball 120 miles an hour every time he swings. So, so Judge is right behind him now. And then behind Judge next week or 2 weeks from now when Voigt comes back, now Judge has protection. But now it's Gio. Gio is good. Don't get me wrong. I love Gio. I think he's the perfect number 6 or 7 hole hitter in our lineup. Gio should not be batting cleanup on the New York Yankees. And that's the problem because they wanted to put Torres there. Torres has been horrible. Sanchez was there. Sanchez horrible. So it's you have to put our best hitter 4th because you have the top 3 that are not going to change. So you have to put him there. And then that's where you have problems. But the rest of the lineup has just been bad. Torres before today, hot garbage. Aaron Hicks, good God, get him off this team because he's there. He might be there for defense. That's what's keeping him in the lineup. But did you see that throw earlier today?
I don't know what he's there for. If he's there for defense, it sure wasn't because of what happened in the last couple of days. Airmails 1 to
he threw it to Aaron Boone.
DC. Yeah, giving out souvenirs at the end of the game.
It was bad. And then that's Clint Frazier, Brett Gardner, Odor, Mike Ford, they're all bad. Like they're all bad.
Yeah.
Yes, Odor might be high up on the team in RBIs. He's horrible at baseball right now.
That's now a couple weeks ago that he's been on that RBI streak. He hasn't had an RBI since maybe Cleveland.
Like the biggest issue is that everyone is lifeless. Like you look at the other teams, the Dodgers, whenever Mookie Betts or anybody hits a double, they get on second base. They do that Mookie Betts thing. The Braves, what did the Braves do? They do like I don't know, something. They do something. Every team has something. The Yankees hit a double and it's like fist pump. And it's like, bro, what happened? Remember thumbs down? Like, what happened? We have nothing now. And then you can see it because everyone's lifeless. How does Judge hit an absolute moonshot? Giancarlo hits 150 mile an hour third deck home run, comes around home plate. Like, what happened to the high jumps, breaking forearms? What happened to that? Do we need Voit back?
The energy, we clearly do. Absolutely missing. It's absolutely missing, especially in this first month. Maybe it's the cold weather.
It's bad.
Can't stand going from Tampa to New York. Nice 80 degrees.
Another thing.
To 40.
Another thing before we move on. Speaking of Stanton, so they said Giancarlo Stanton will not play the field because he gets hurt. But Giancarlo said, he's out of his own mouth, I play better when my body is in constant motion.
That's a fact. I'd say for any athlete in the world is that you play better when you are actually playing a position that you want to play. Yeah.
They're like, but he gets hurt every time he plays the field. No, he doesn't. He gets hurt every time you guys ask him to sprint out ground balls. He gets hurt. He gets hurt from swinging 180 mile an hour bat speed. Like, that's his problem. Giancarlo swings like he's hitting a fastball down the middle on every pitch. And it's like, you're not. That's why he gets hurt. He doesn't get hurt by running around like in the outfield.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So you never put him in the field.
I think like biologically, even like hitting is not like a natural like bodily motion. So like you expect people to get hurt like swinging a bat, especially the way he does that much force. He's probably gonna get hurt. Now, if you got a guy who's like he said, constantly in motion, it's rough.
So he literally goes in the dugout, not in the dugout, in the clubhouse, and rides a bike in between at bats. And it's like, so he needs to be moving around. Put him in the field. Like, he's a better fielder than Clint Frazier. I don't care. He is. That's what he was in Miami, let me say. I don't know what he is now. But in Miami, he was actually really good.
As of late, too.
Clint makes unnecessary plays. That dive in Cleveland, he had no business diving for that ball.
Oh, no, he had to dive for that ball.
He would have caught that standing up. He would have caught that standing up. If he just jumped instead of diving, because remember, he jumped up. He didn't dive out. He jumped up.
He was high
and
in
then
the air.
Laid out. If he just jumped, he would have caught that easily. And then today, that diving play he made today, he had to dive for that. Unnecessary. And I would say this.
Maybe. But go ahead.
Clint is a right fielder.
That's the major thing.
You put Clint in left field, the ball's coming down, he starts like acting like an idiot. You put him in right field, jogs over to the ball, catches it, lobs it in, no issues. And he starts to hit again. Aaron Judge is a good enough fielder. Move him to left field. But they don't want to have him playing such a big left field. He's going to be running around, blah, blah, blah. I get it.
Yeah, they're constantly moving the guy. And we've been saying it for weeks. Is like, let's find a starting spot for the guy already. Let's go. Yeah. Like it's been like years. It's been years. Oh,
but he has
starting left fielder opening day. Okay, when? When is he going to be the actual starter? Yeah, I know he has to because Judge is solidified in right field. So give him reps at left. He's bad. He's not great. He's not terrible, but he's not great. But you give him more reps, he could be what we need out there. Actually, what we probably need right now is like a Gardy back in center field, part time with Hicks.
I think Hicks is better than
our
Gardy.
Lineup is but Hicks in our lineup is now costing us.
That's fine. Hicks is better than Gardy. Gardy is so
Gardy
bad.
will at least hit you in the 9 spot and maybe lay down a small ball bunt. Hicks couldn't do that.
I have that video that I said I'm going to post every time Brett Gardner hits a home run or does something spectacular in the field. He has done nothing. That video has not moved.
You got cobwebs on your phone, not moving.
It has not moved. That should show you, because at least with Aaron Hicks, I've had moments where I'm like, Aaron Hicks is back, even though he's been horrible ever since. Like, he hit that home run.
He hit like Aaron Hicks all August.
And it's like,
one was.
And it's like, oh my God, he's bad again. Yeah. At least I have a roller coaster feeling where Brett Gardner is just like, God, he's horrible. He's so bad. But he's better than Tyler Wade. And that's all I can ask. Because Tyler Wade had to play left at the end of the game.
Tyler. Oh my God.
Tyler Wade had to play right at the end of the game, and it's like,
I could have laid down a better bunt. You could have laid down a better bump than that. Oh I had one RBI my senior year of baseball in high school, and that was a sacrifice squeeze down the third base line that I almost beat out. Tell me Tyler Wade, guy getting paid minimum top dollar at the highest level of baseball. He just let it pass him. Wasn't he like trying to squeeze it down the third base line, and he kept like forcing it?
He wanted to get it past the pitcher just so that the third baseman would have to feel it. But at the same time, it's like, we didn't ask for that. We just asked you to get the ball down so that
we're just moving the guy from second
to third, and he couldn't do that. I don't think he wanted to bunt. I genuinely think he did not want to bunt because, you know, everyone says like, oh, you get 2 strikes, you take off the bunt.
Oh,
you could see it. Like, he bunted the first time, missed. Then the second was a called strike or whatever, and then the third one, 0-2, he's like, I got to bunt again. He just stabbed at it. He didn't even like put the bat there. He just and hit it foul and walked off. He didn't want to
get in foul territory. He just strikes out with it.
If it's me, like, I'd rather take it and then, because it wasn't even a strike, it was below the zone, so he literally could have just took the pitch and then swung away. But it's lefty, and the Yankees knew he could barely hit righty lefty, so you might as well go up there and try to bunt. But he couldn't even do that.
You do what
Big problems. Tyler. It's just lackluster because you could even see it. He didn't want to bunt. And it's like, bro, your bunt could set us up to win the game, and you didn't even want to do that. So that's where Tyler Wade and Aaron Hicks need to get sent to the moon. Call up Florial because he's a lefty.
I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah. He's a lefty. He plays great defense, strong arm, fast. Send Aaron Hicks to trade Aaron Hicks to the Giants for Mike Tauchman. Let's do that. Straight up, you get Aaron Hicks, we get Mike Tauchman. We made a mistake by giving you guys Mike Tauchman because he went 3 for 4 last night on the Giants with 3 hits, like 2 RBIs. Get him back. Give them Aaron Hicks.
There was a misprint on the flyer, man. You know, we needed a Tauchman back. It meant to say Hicks.
Yeah.
If we're gonna wrap up this entire month, I think we can both agree that the Yankees bats are pretty bad. The pitching has been holding
before this series, because our starting pitching, our bullpen, and our lineup before today was today they should have been better. They had so many people on base. The first game of this series, they were horrible, but game 2, 3, and 4, we had runners on base. We actually scored, even though we only scored 3 runs. It wasn't like we let ourselves down by only scoring those 3 runs. I took a screenshot. It was bases loaded, nobody out. And I took a screenshot of the bases loaded, nobody out. And I was waiting for the Yankees to go 1, 2, 3 after that. But I think it was Odor had that 2-run single. So I was like, okay, I can delete the screenshot because I was getting ready. I was loading it up. I was like, we're about to go 1, 2, 3 after bases loaded, nobody out. And the first 2 were outs. And Odor got that single. I said he saved it because I was about to fire off that tweet. The Yankees are garbage. But but it's like, we had clutch hitting here and there. So it's like our pitching staff was phenomenal. Davey was all right, but that was his first time pitching against real batters since spring training. And then you had Cole go 6 1/3 or 6 2/3. Herman goes 7.
Game prior, 7.
Both of them were no runs, I think. Today. And then Gumby was today. He gave up 2 runs, and he went into the 6th. He only pitched 5 innings officially because he didn't get out in the 6th. But he was pretty good. So, and you got Cole tomorrow.
Yeah. Listen, yeah, I think that's how we've kind of wrapped up the majority of April for the Yankees. Obviously, we're not ecstatic. You know, if this team could have
No,
ended up with maybe like 18 wins, I could have foresaw 18 wins for the month of April. This
no, you're
Yankees
wilding.
team.
Whoa,
Oh, come on. You're
whoa.
really going to take a look at our schedule from the first half and count at least 7 games that we couldn't have won? We're 11 and 14 right now.
18 wins?
18 and 7 this Yankees team could be.
No.
Right now, 11
The best
and 14.
record in baseball is like 16 and 9. So that means we'd have to be much better than everybody else.
There are 7 countable games on our schedule, at least 7, that we absolutely could have won. Obviously, okay, it's baseball. You're not going to win all 7.
We could have won every game. We could have, but you got to understand.
We got launched a couple games, but
Kluber has not pitched in 2 years. Tyone has not pitched in 2 years. Herman has not pitched in 2 years. You got to remember that.
Of course, those are losses. Of course, absolutely. But
that's half the games.
I can count you at least 7 of them. Of our losses, half of our losses, we could have absolutely won if we just hit better. I
don't know, man. That's a lot. 7
games. We had high praises for this Yankees team from the jump. I don't.
Yeah, but I said every year this team
slow. Of course,
has the worst slow starters every year.
They haven't been the entire month of April though. It was
usually halfway through, but by that time we already got 9 losses every year.
And 16 and 9 is the worst. So you're saying 16 and 9 is the worst start is the best start we could have had?
We could have had at best. At best.
16, 18.
That's a big difference. It's a big difference when it's a small sample size.
25 games is a small sample size, which is why I think we're still not fully thrown off yet for this entire season for the Yankees.
Yeah.
They have a couple, we mentioned before, tough games coming up for the next 2 months. And I think, if they can get their act together within the next couple of weeks, maybe we'll see a better Yankees team. Those injuries kind of slide away and, hitting kind of forms into a domino effect between the top guys and some of those guys at the bottom of the order. We find a more consistent lineup that we can work with. Usually, doesn't mold till about mid-May anyway. We stop switching up, calling up, all those guys from spring training. It'll get there. And again, it's a waiting game with this team. It's just a waiting game. Every year. It's not supposed to be this long.
Exactly. By now we're on our 8-game, 10-game win streak, but we just haven't hit that yet. Yeah.
And as much as we want to rant about this team, we still got high hopes for them.
Oh, 100%.
Still our year. May, June, July, come down those stretches where we got to play Houston again. That's free energy, free life right there. Because we didn't get to really play Houston last
after
year.
Detroit.
Yeah, I know. That's after this coming up series.
They're not the greatest team right now.
I know.
But
Frankie's our number one guy. No, we gotta send him.
We have to crush them,
bro. Because I think we missed out last year. I think on hitting them.
Yeah, we never played
doing all the fun stuff, and
we better not start that now. No, we can't.
Oh no, we should. I think we should
because they're gonna capitalize on that, and then we're not gonna
do it to Correa, who's still hitting. No, sorry. Not to Correa. Correa is the one guy who we shouldn't do it to because we don't want him on base. Do it to Altuve because that's the only way he's going to get on base the last couple seasons.
They don't put him on because what if that gets him hot?
He's going to do a double play the next couple guys. We'll make sure.
Hit Yordan Alvarez. Nobody cares about him.
Yordan Alvarez.
He's the best hitter on the team. Yeah. Hit him and let everybody go sit down.
You just don't want to pitch to.
Yeah, hit him, put him on base, even though he had nothing to do with that team, 2017. But just
2019 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, this team will turn it around, the Yankees. Shane, let's speed through our next topic. Obviously, today, 8 p.m. It's only a couple of minutes away, actually. But we're gonna have our pre-draft analysis coming to you live right now. It's only the first round today.
After
post-draft analysis.
Pre-post draft.
Pre-post. Our pre-mid-post draft of the first round. There's really 4, maybe 5 if you count tight ends, major positions that are being looked at in the first round, in the first 2 rounds maybe. You got 5 quarterbacks who are expected to be first rounders. You got 3 receivers who are notably going to be top receivers on their teams next year. A couple defensive ends, a couple defensive backs. If you look at those quarterbacks first, you have the main 5 who are
Trevor Lawrence,
who is expected
Mac
to go
Jones,
overall. Mac Jones, Bama. Yeah.
Trey Lance,
from North Dakota State. The guy from BYU.
Justin Fields from Ohio State.
Justin Fields from Ohio State.
And who's the last guy?
I'm not forgetting this last guy. Zach Wilson.
And they think Zach Wilson might go third, and Mac Jones might drop to like
the 49ers.
So they were saying Trevor Lawrence is the only surefire number 1 overall pick.
Right.
Yeah. And then they said the number 2 pick is either going to be Mac Jones, which I don't really agree with, or Justin Fields. If Mac Jones goes 2, Justin Fields will go 3. Everybody will slide down.
There's surprisingly too a lot of draft, what are those, like, rankings that people have put out. They have Justin Fields real low, like back of the first round, not even first round, some of them. And I'm like, what?
But then he made that stupid off-balance 75-yard throw on the run, perfectly in stride. So now everybody shut up.
They're like, oh, he's got it now. And it's not like, obviously that should make a huge difference on his draft stock anyway. All the draft, analysis on these guys is all going to be shot dead when they play game 1 of this NFL season. I think I saw a stat last 15 years, there have been 30 quarterbacks taken in the first round. 16
more than that
in the first round.
Probably
in the last 15 years.
Probably
I think
last
30
10 years.
30 starting quarterbacks. I gotta find that stat again.
Just last year there was 3, and then the year before that there was 4, and then the year before that was 5. So
I think it's top 10 picks.
Yeah. Oh, maybe top 10.
Yeah. And I think 16 of those 30 are no longer starters or in the NFL. Yeah. So it's
some of them are bad decisions on the players' part.
On the players or on the
players what's his name from Texas A&M? Johnny Manziel. Manziel's still a stud, but he's just an idiot. So no team wanted him because it was if you're gonna act like a fool, get out.
He also went to the Cleveland Browns, who at the time in 2014, 15 were and you look at teams like that and the Jets, who are just failing quarterbacks left and right, failing top 10 pick quarterbacks left and right. They can probably account for the majority of those failed quarterbacks. So obviously, these quarterbacks, you don't expect them to come and turn around a franchise immediately. Trevor Lawrence is not going to turn around Jacksonville Jaguars immediately.
They're looking at him to do that.
Obviously, new head coach, Urban Meyer, and him are supposed to bring in a new energy, new style of play to the NFL. But, it's the Jaguars. Their division is the only thing that is going to save them. It's the Tennessee Titans and practically no one else. Maybe the Colts with Carson Wentz, maybe. But we're not entirely sure. Yeah. Wide receivers, there's 2 from Bama. There's Devontae Smith, Heisman winner, and Jalen Waddle.
The Giants said they're going to try to draft them. Why? I don't get it.
I still don't understand. And so many Giants fans have projected wide receivers. You just picked up a wide receiver. You just paid a wide receiver 7 years or 6 years. 72
it was
4 years,
it was 4 years, 72, and it's we don't need another wide receiver.
You already have 3. You got Sterling Shepard.
We have 3 number 1s. Well, Sterling's a number 2. Darius Slayton is a number 1. On number 1, he has number 1 talent, but he's not a number 1. And then you have Galladay, who's an actual number 1. You have Evan Ingram, who should be a number 1, but he can't catch. So he's always open on every play, but can't catch. So
you guys could use that tight end, that Kyle Pitts guy.
He's not gonna be there.
You don't
he's
think
going
he'll be
number
there
4
by 10?
Nah.
To Atlanta.
He's going top 5. Yeah.
Unless Atlanta
picks a quarterback. Or they pick a quarterback. Because how long is Matty Ice gonna be there? He's 33, 34
2 years
already.
left. Tops. 2 years tops. because he's not going to another Super Bowl. That's for sure.
And the Cowboys pick ahead of us, and they love Kyle Pitts. So at least we know for sure he's not going to be there.
I think they're looking at a defensive back. They might.
That's what they say. But you understand? You got to understand. Jerry Jones said we love Kyle Pitts, and if he's there for us, we're gonna pick him. He said they're not going to reach. They're not going to reach.
He's gonna talk you all the way to the ends of the earth about what top prospect the Cowboys want, what top free agent the Cowboys are going for, and that's to lure other teams in. That's his.
I agree.
That is his mantra, is just to let me bait you in here, but not really. I'm thinking you guys go for Pitts if he's there, obviously.
Oh, if he's there, they better.
Obvious, yeah. But he's drawing comparisons to Plaxico Burress, like a receiver, Plaxico Burress, who's like a top receiver for the early 2000s Giants.
Yeah.
And with that Super Bowl, that could be like a clear-cut pick for you guys at tight end if he's there. I think any team would really want him. I personally think that tight ends go underrated in every draft because there's a lot of them have hands.
They're not supposed to be drafted so high. It's like running backs. Yeah. They're supposed to be late first rounds, early second picks.
Rounds. Yeah.
Yeah. But when you have a generational talent like they think he is, you have to pick him.
And most of them end up just being run blockers anyway. But the majority of them, you get out a guy who has decent hands. Any team with a top 5 tight end right now in the league is a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
So make sure you got one on your roster.
If you're a first round pick as a tight end, you're a receiver that just plays tight end.
Yeah, that's
playing.
Ingram was a first round, no?
He was number 11 overall. And that was like the worst number 11 pick because he should be the best tight end in the league. He's open on every play. And it's not like they're not. Yeah. And
he's
they're
using
playing
the one thing that he has wrong.
They're playmaking for him. They're trying to stop him. And he's open on every play. That means he has talent. He just can't catch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's crazy to watch. The other guy, the receiver, is Jamar Chase from LSU. They're saying Bengals might reunite him with Joe Burrow. Be a nice college reunion in Cincy. Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard about him. Yeah. And they were saying that about the Dolphins drafting one of the Bama wide receivers. I don't know if it was Smith or the other guy, Waggle. Was that his name? Waggle?
Yeah,
Waddle. I said Waggle. Waddle. They said the Dolphins are going to draft one of them.
And listen, this kid won the Heisman Trophy, but why is he drawing comparisons to Marvin Harrison, Devontae Smith?
Just because of the way he plays at wide receiver.
That's how they make those projections. But that is a heck of a projection. Like,
at least they didn't say
the guy's a Hall of Famer. Like,
at least they didn't say like Jerry Rice because he has the same body type, stuff like that. Like they said Marvin Harrison. Like, yes, he's still a Hall of Famer, but you have to. What are you gonna do? Say he's the next Edelman? It's like, yeah, he's a stud, but do you want to be compared to Julian Edelman?
No, especially considering he was like a 7th round draft pick. Absolutely
exactly.
Not.
You want to be compared to a Hall of Famer already.
Yeah. Yeah, it's those that kind of get you like, what? But, it depends how they all turn out. I'd like to see him on any of those Bama receivers, really, because I think Bama receivers, they might be wide receiver in my eyes, because a lot of the receivers end up just being absolute freaks, monsters in the NFL.
Well, that's every position for them. Like their running backs have been insane.
Henry's the most standout-ish of all of them, I think,
because he's a workhorse. Ingram's there, but he's Derrick Henry is literally steroids. Like he's not on roids, but just imagine if roids was a person. That's him.
Yeah, his workout videos are too much, man. Oh, I'm telling you,
insane.
Every time we share one in our group chat, it's just it's too much. I mean, like he's going too hard.
He's going too hard, but it works because that one-legged on the balance ball, or whatever, and he's pushing people off. Like, imagine that balancing on a ball doing this and not
doing it in real life.
Yeah, that's why he does it so well. Nobody else is working out like that.
If there were 2 other positions to highlight out of the draft, it's defensive end. I think Miami has
which
2.
We need.
One of them is Gregory Rousseau, and I think he's the number 1 projected defensive end out of all of them. Yeah, from Miami. Miami has 2, and I think they're going 1 and 2, like in tandem. And the defensive back is led by Patrick Surtain, the second son of
We need that
Patrick
too.
Surtain.
Not
I
really.
think there's a lot of there's a lot of teams that could use a lot of these picks. Shane, you've been kind of vocal about what your team needs. What do you think the Giants need specifically in the first round? Available to you at 10.
Well, I agree with most of the teams that draft high. You don't get to choose. Draft best available player, unless it's like a quarterback, because we don't need a quarterback. We don't need a running back. We don't need safeties. But every other position, you draft the best available player. I don't want to hear anything about, draft another wide receiver. Like, yes, you can never have too many receivers because receivers get hurt, especially on slant routes. So they get their legs taken out, whatever. But if you really look at the Giants, we need line help. Name a line, I don't care. Defensive line, offensive line, get some help. I would say maybe our offensive line is good because we got Solder back. So now we have both tackles are going to be standouts.
Yeah.
So we're good on that front. But we have no pass rush. Like Leonard Williams went crazy last year, but I think he just did that for the contract. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to Jets Leonard Williams with 1 sack for the year. We have good defensive tackles. We have no defensive ends, and that's a problem. Because if you can't rush the outside, you can't do anything. We stop the run, we can't stop the pass.
Yeah. And you're gonna need that in division with, Dak Prescott. Dak be lighting you up.
Like the Washington football team has no quarterback. They have Fitzmagic though, and Fitzmagic could easily go off for 400 yards. But what does that mean?
Not too much early on. It's mostly if you can get through Dallas, you get through your division.
You get through the division because you think Eagles quarterback is really going to do anything. What's his name?
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. You think he's really going to do anything? Not
they already don't even think he's going to be the starter. They're planning on drafting a quarterback if they can find one. I think if they can get one as low as I think the Stanford guy is the 6th or 7th best guy. And I'm even forgetting his name, but I saw it before. Davis Mills again. Stanford quarterback. Don't know how that's going to fare. Pats need a lot of work. It's mostly at receiver. At 15, I will pray that we get Devontae Smith.
Devontae's going number 1. He's going to be the first wide receiver.
Wide receiver selected, yeah. If we can get Jamar Chase, that's fine too, but he's probably going to Cincy. Jalen Waddle is a good addition. He's a Bama receiver. Again, there's not too many terrible options. I think for Cam Newton's sake, we already got tight ends. At receiver, we just lost Edelman. We're going to need a guy who's going to be there for us on 2nd and long.
To be honest with you,
for Cam over the middle.
Waddle might be a better NFL wide receiver than Devontae Smith. So if he's there, y'all better take him because he's a bigger body. And
actually,
Devontae Smith is skinny. He's like 165 pounds. Like that's small, bro.
Jalen Waddle's 5'9", listed at 5'9", 180. I actually thought he was the bigger receiver.
I'm not talking about in height. I'm talking about body size. Like he has like 15, 20 pounds on Smith, and Smith is gonna get lit up.
But in essence, that's still a small receiver. And that fits the Patriots scheme.
I know.
Which is fine. But
it fit when your quarterback was super accurate. Yeah. Cam Newton is not accurate enough to throw to small bodies. I think he needs a 6'5" guy.
And the other think about it, Carolina, he had Kelvin Benjamin, who's 6'5", 240. It's just one-handed catches in the back of the end zone.
Big difference.
Patriots have been talking about taking a quarterback. They've been talking about trading their first-round pick because they do that every year. The last second, Belichick, that's just his scheme. Try and build for the future. I think if we get lucky, maybe they trade up, or maybe they can hold off and find. Personally, the quarterback I really like is the kid from OSU. How am I forgetting his name?
You said quarterback?
The quarterback from Ohio State. Yeah, Justin
Oh,
Fields.
Justin Fields.
The quarterback that I'm feeling the most for the Patriots is Justin Fields. If we can get him at 15, I wouldn't mind Trey Lance from North Dakota State. Obviously, with those types of quarterbacks, you question maybe the competition they played against. But Carson Wentz was the last guy to come out of there, and he wasn't horrible his first 2 seasons. He just kept getting hurt. Yeah. It's tough for the Patriots right now. Our whole defense is coming back. I think they just maybe pick up late guys on the defensive side, just to bolster that. We definitely need some offensive linemen. If they can get a good, best available offensive lineman, that could work out for us. There aren't too many names is the other thing on the offensive line that I've seen. This is a very skill position heavy draft, if anything. So, if your team's looking to bolster that.
I think that's why the Giants are going to pick a wide receiver, because there's only one offensive lineman that's projected to go top 15. Yeah. Everybody else is like second round, third round, and you can still find good offensive linemen. Like the whole Colts offensive line was drafted in the second and third round, and they were all Pro Bowlers one year. So that's why they're like, oh, get a wide receiver. But it's like, man, I just don't want to take the chance. If you have a stud offensive lineman in the first round, pick him up. Mm-hmm. Or a stud defensive end, pick him up.
They got Penei Sewell from Oregon as the number 1 guy overall. And then the next guy is in the second round, like at best from there. It's Northwestern Rashawn Slater. And guards, it kind of goes the same, usually lower ranked first rounders.
Exactly.
Centers, same thing. But usually from good schools. Bama usually has good linemen. USC usually has good linemen. Oregon usually has decent linemen. Guys to look at least for the first round. I'd say the Patriots need a wide receiver overall. And if they can find one of those Bama guys or Jamar Chase, I'm happy with that.
Yep.
And yeah.
I would be happy for you guys, honestly.
You should be, because this is our season. And I'm going to say it from now, because we finished third last year, and it looked tough on us only because we finished 7-9, and Cam was super inconsistent. Cam's coming back this season.
Yeah, and if you guys get him a wide receiver, he would actually play well. Like when the guy had more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns, that's bad.
It's pretty bad. I mean, 12 rushing touchdowns, and in the first couple of games, like he was pretty dominant. It was just he just can't hold that. He hadn't played in like a year and a half. You don't know how long that injury is really gonna hold him out. But overall, should be a decent draft. Again, it's already underway. Jags are still picking their first round pick. They get 10 minutes to do so. It's way too much time if you ask me for a first round pick.
They have months to do so. They should give you 30 seconds.
They've got these picks in their head. That's crazy. Exactly. The Giants tweeted out the other day, we don't know who we're picking at 10. It's like, yeah, you do. If you're just saying that because
that
you don't
makes sense.
That
makes sense.
They
the number 1 overall pick.
It's easy to decipher.
You should get 30 seconds.
Is with trades. That's where it gets shaky. It's like, oh, this team just traded up. Now we don't know if we can get this guy. But usually you have a layout of like where you think these other.
Yeah, you have your 5 or 6 choices, but you have to choose between those 5 or 6. That's the hard part. Oh, half of them people getting COVID. Oh no, you saw that?
Watching
there's like 8,000 people sitting there.
I don't know where that is.
They better all be vaccinated. They're in Cleveland.
They have.
They better. They better get vaccinated.
It's somewhere. I think it's in a hotel. I think they said that today.
They got Jarvis Landry. Okay.
Did they make the pick officially yet? Are we still waiting on it?
I don't
know. Episode 15, bro. So, I mean, overall, we've talked about the Yankees. The first month of baseball hasn't been what we expected. But again, we expect them to turn it around. There's a lot to go. NFL draft is today. Please tune into that because, you want to see where your team is going to be with the future. You got a couple studs that are actually coming around in this first round. And like we said before, it's a skill position draft. So you're looking at studs who are actually going to be getting the ball like a lot of the time. Seeing a lot of those names pop up on the screen. First downs, touchdowns. I'm excited for the rest of this MLB season. I know, Shane, you're equally as excited. We'll probably try and hit up a Yankee game, maybe. I already seen some tickets out,
Down, bro. They're probably more expensive because nobody can go.
We got to go before July. Red Sox game. Yes, that's what it is.
We got to go before July.
Like in like, every week or so after every, like a month in advance. But we'll get out there. We'll do some stuff out there. But This has been the D-Rod and Shaniac Sports Podcast, episode 15. We will come with you live with weekly updates a little later on. Of course, tune in much later on for the post-NFL draft recap. We'll be covering most of those first couple rounds. I don't know if we'll get through all 7 because Mr. Irrelevant isn't really our most relevant guy. But we'll get to almost everybody. Keep tuning in. We're always on YouTube, always constantly posting on YouTube. You guys gotta go check out that content, those post-game recaps. If you haven't been watching the Yankees games, at least watch those recaps. You can at least know where we're coming from. Spotify, Pandora Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, iHeartRadio Podcasts, and on YouTube. You can watch the video right here. 6 different forms of media. We're always up every week. We're posting something almost every single day. So go watch, go like, go comment, go subscribe. See us, and we will see you. Till then,
next week.
Till next week.
All right.